She wore ring, fingers trembling slightly, gold cold softly. He held silence, eyes unreadable, mouth sealed firmly. Crowd whispered quietly. Music played lightly. Time moved slowly. Hands touched briefly, yet hearts distant. Eyes avoided gaze. Vows hung heavy, air thick, words unspoken, futures uncertain. Her smile forced, yet warmth lingered. On lips briefly, he nodded slowly. Breath caught, chest heavy, mind elsewhere. Rings gleamed gold, but not love, not fully, not shared. Guests watched politely, whispers under breath. Candles flickered softly. She hoped quietly, he hoped silently, each carrying weight, each holding breath. Flowers bloomed brightly, petals soft, fragrance mingled, yet sorrow lingered. He thought deeply of what was, of what would, of silence between. She tried speaking, words died in throat, unspoken, unfinished. Music swelled louder, yet silence deeper. Room felt small, time stretched long. Eyes met briefly. He looked away. She swallowed tears, heart held tight. Ring glimmered gold, promise etched, yet heart stayed, separate, alone. Vows whispered softly, words rehearsed, mouths moved, hearts stayed silent. She wore ring, he held silence. Love lingered quietly. Between them, unseen, unheard, untouched. She walked slowly, down aisle. He watched silently. Dress brushed floor. Veil floated lightly. Eyes avoided gaze. Crowd held breath. Candles flickered softly. Music hummed faintly. Hands reached briefly, then paused. Fingers trembled slightly. Ring gleamed gold. He swallowed hard. Heart weighed heavy. Mind raced quietly. She smiled faintly. Lips pressed thin. Hope fluttered softly. He nodded subtly. Jaw clenched tightly. Eyes stared forward. Vows approached quietly. Words rehearsed, yet unsaid, lingering between them. She spoke first. Voice trembled slightly. I promise forever. He listened carefully. Breath caught. Words felt hollow. Heart stayed silent. Ring slipped onto her finger, glinting brightly, yet warmth absent. She tried laughter. It sounded forced. Cheeks pink, eyes wet. He held silence. Silent fortress. No words, no touch, no answer. Guests whispered quietly. Some glanced awkwardly. Others looked down, waiting. Breath held. Flowers leaned softly. Petals fragrant. Air smelled sweet, yet tension hung. She glanced sideways. He looked away. Pain lingered, invisible yet present. Music swelled loudly, or maybe silence did, louder than music, heavier than words. Hands touched briefly, then withdrew. Heat remained. Cold followed. Space between widened. She remembered moments. Before silence. Before ring. Before distance grew. He remembered promises. Never spoken. Never shared. Yet etched inside. Heart, mind, soul. Vows continued slowly. She repeated carefully. I will love, I will honor. He kept silent, held composure, eyes distant, fingers tense. Crowd nodded politely, clapping soft, yet awkward, happiness faint, like a shadow. She smiled bravely, tears held back, fingers cold, heart trembling, breath shaky. He gave subtle nod, no smile, no warmth, only weight, heavy and quiet. Music ended softly, guests whispered, candles flickered, air lingered, with silence thick. She walked past, he stood still, ring shone gold, silence deeper, walls closing slowly. She wanted words, he offered none. Heart strained, fingers itched, voice trapped. Photographs captured moment. I smiled falsely. Bodies posed, souls separated, love frozen. Time paused. She sat quietly, hands in lap, ring cold, mind racing, heart aching. He watched again, eyes distant, mouth tight, silence stronger, stillness louder. Even nightfall could not ease. Air tension, stars hidden, moon ignored. She whispered softly to herself, I am here. Yet no answer returned from him. Rings gleamed gold, promises felt hollow. Love lingered, silent, unspoken, heavy, cold. She wore ring, he held silence. World moved slowly, time stretched endlessly. Hearts remained apart. Guests have left, candles burn low. Room hums softly. She sits still, hands folded neatly. Ring glints faintly. He stands near, eyes unfocused. Fingers clench slowly. Silence grows heavier. Breath catches often. Time stretches endlessly. She looks down. Veil shadows face. Heart aches quietly. He watches still, mouth pressed thin, voice strapped firmly. Memories float softly, of laughter shared, of promises whispered, of nights imagined. She reaches hand, fingers hover briefly, air fills space, touch denied quietly. He steps back, distance widens further, heart hardens slowly, mind races endlessly. Room seems smaller, shadows stretch longer, even light feels dim and cold. She whispers softly to no one, words lost, absorbed by silence. Wind drifts in, curtains sway, petals fall, floor holds echoes. He remembers mornings, sunlight on faces, coffee shared quietly, smiles lingering softly. She recalls evenings, candlelight gentle, music faint, hands touching lightly. They both pause, memories collide, heartbeats quicken, fingers tremble slightly. Evening deepens slowly, stars peek briefly, moonlight bathes room, air tastes heavy. She wants words, he holds silence, chest aches, eyes water, fingers curl, ring feels heavy, gold bright, promise hangs, unspoken, uneven.